This morning, during a 9 a.m. Sunday service, Bishop T.D. Jakes of the Potter's House suffered a health incident during a morning prayer. The whole thing caught on camera as that morning service was being streamed around the world.
When a depressing occurrence happened at one of Pastor T.D. Jakes' Sunday morning services, the Christian community was left in astonishment. It's not common to see a spiritual leader go through health issues, but Jake's story serves as a reminder that these individuals are also people. Jake's daughter has shocked everyone with a startling disclosure in a surprising turn of events. What mysteries did she discover? What is the response of Jake's family to this? Watch how the daughter of Pastor T.D. Jakes just breaks the stillness and astounds everyone. The Sunday morning service was somber. Churches are often linked to spiritual awakening and miracles. However, the events that occurred on November 24th, 2024, were shocking to the whole globe and stood in sharp contrast to what is typically seen. A severe medical emergency occurred while Pastor T.D. Jakes was preaching live at the Potter's House Church in Dallas. During the service, the adored pastor, spiritual guide, and internationally acclaimed leader powerfully affected both his online audience and his church. Pastor Jakes, well known for his motivational speeches, has been delivering fervent and forceful sermons. But his body language altered dramatically halfway through the sermon, and the crowd instantly thought that he was having a heart attack or a catastrophic stroke. The assembly started to pray, others were murmuring, and some were even sobbing, despite the fact that it was unknown how serious the situation was. Instead of his customary vivacious manner, Pastor Jakes had begun the service sitting down. Nevertheless, it was clear that he loves his vocation and the people he is caring for, and his statements about his passion for ministry were sincere. Eventually, he stood up to walk about, but his gait was a little slow, and the people closest to the pulpit saw that he was breathing deeply and that his speech included a tiny slur. Pastor Jakes, who is always the epitome of a leader, attempted to continue despite his obvious agony because he was eager to share God's message. The pastor was obviously having physical difficulties, and despite his best efforts, the mood in the room became rather tense. The church's outreach team and medical personnel hurried to Jake's aid right away. Security guards and door attendants walked about in quiet while others made sure the man of God was properly cared for. Joined hands and prayed with their voices, asking for their beloved pastor's recovery and intervention. Social media was flooded with messages of worry, support, and prayers for Pastor Jake's speedy recovery from the global internet audience. For someone like T.D. Jakes, whose impact goes far beyond the boundaries of his church, the unanticipated incident served as a sobering reminder of the mental and physical toll that pastoral labor can have. How much of an impact does this inspiring preacher have, then? Let's investigate. The significance and unity of religion. One of the most well-known religious figures of the modern age is Pastor T.D. Jakes, who has spent many years preaching, writing, directing, and producing movies. A lot of people wondered how this enormous guy handles his duties. Jake's team provided some information on the senior's health and a brief explanation on the pastor's X page shortly after the occurrence. Bishop T.D. Jakes had a minor health crisis during today's service and was given prompt medical care after his stirring one-hour speech. It continued, saying, "Bishop Jakes is stable and under the care of medical professionals." Christians and others showered social networks with love and support once the information was made public. The effect Bishop Jakes' ministry has had throughout the world was shown by the well wishes that poured in and the testimonies that started to come in about how he had changed their lives. People remained in the church when the service was interrupted. With the hope that their priest would return to them, they stayed and continued to be devoted to him. As soon as the news reached the globe, the world prayed and waited for further information on the health of the man who has committed his life to inspiring others to live bravely for Christ. Pastor Jakes once said, "I still love preaching." The Potter's House congregation's bishop was never bored with preaching, and his impassioned sermons filled the congregation as he went on. He spoke from the heart, and after years of listening to him, the crowd heartily yelled and praised him like they always do on Sundays. Jakes wiped his face, sweat trickling down his forehead. "I miss you," he stated as skillfully and warmly as he could, while remaining steadfast in his intention. This was not only a statement. Insights into the heart of a man who has dedicated his ministry to serving others are revealed. Pastor Jakes, who is renowned for his exceptional ability to connect with the audience regardless of their socioeconomic standing, continued by providing another poignant anecdote that demonstrated even more effective preaching. He compared it to visiting a sick friend in the hospital, saying that while you go there believing you are offering something, the opposite really occurs. when he fervently said, "I love you." His voice progressively rose with emotion and expressed a profound sense of gratitude and affection for the congregation he served. The pastor and his followers were praying, worshiping, and admiring each other in the room at that same time. People valued a leader who not only solicits ideas from those under his direction but also welcomes them. However, behind the yelling and applauding in the sanctuary, there was also a whisper of concern. Jake's hand began to shake slightly where it touched the microphone. At first, the tremors were so weak that anyone sitting further away could hardly feel them. The individuals watching closely saw that the guy instinctively lowered the microphone, maybe to conceal the shaking. The bishop's comments were usually sage and modest, but today, despite the suffering, there was something very moving in his delivery. What started off as applause evolved into praise for the congregation's shepherd's moral fiber and tenacity at that precise time. Seeing Pastor Jakes, who has spent the most of his adult life in ministry, struggle with what was obviously a human frailty was heartbreaking. It served as a continual reminder of the duties he has as a shepherd, a celebrity, and a man committed to his mission. Jake stood before the assembly with a level of passion that silenced the room as he delivered his sermon. "Let these be the Lord's pleasure, O Lord, my strength, my Redeemer, let them go in peace," he prayed, referring to the words that had been in my heart and said out loud. The audience was inspired by the fervent prayer that has permeated his ministry and was always eager to hear what he had to say. But as soon as he spoke the words, something changed. It was concerning that Jake's body trembled a bit, something he had never done before. His handkerchief, which he had been using, fell to the ground, signaling that something was amiss. For the fallen great, prayers. Pastor Jake's team, which is always ready for anything, realized the prospective importance of the scenario immediately. In order to assist and safeguard the adored pastor, his armor bearers and support personnel immediately stood up and hurried to the platform. Their shouts broke the still silence from the loudspeakers. As they attempted to gain control of the situation, the voices were commanding yet restrained. Additionally, people's emotions fluctuated rapidly, going from joy to anxiety in a little period of time. Some worshippers murmured their prayers for the spiritual leader's recovery while praying, and their expressions conveyed their worry and anxiety. Other worshippers just stared at one another uneasily. The church remained devoted in spite of the commotion, demonstrating how devoted people are to Pastor Jakes. Their affection for him was evident, and they joined their pastor in offering him words of encouragement and prayers. The people back home were similarly in astonishment. They prayed and supported the guy who had made such a significant investment in their lives on social media. For a guy who has come to represent strength and optimism to many, this was an uncommon instance of vulnerability. People were able to perceive Jake as a sympathetic man of God who never wavered from his faith, despite this tragic situation. The live service camera shifted positions throughout the action to record the congregation singing and praying. While it's clear that the worshipers were anxious as they watched the prophet and his team depart, they remained steadfast and focused their prayers on Pastor T.D. Jakes, raising their hands in faith and unity to show their love for the man who has supported so many of them during their spiritual struggles. The crowd sat in huddles of worry, and low murmurs of prayer filled the church. Voices from the audience could be heard pleading for divine intervention amid the chaos on stage. "Jesus, please take pity on him and wash him." Every element of the church represented Pastor Jake's passion and dedication to his job, and the emotions in the room were a close approximation to the spiritual vibrations he personally created. For a brief moment, it seemed as if the world had paused and the whole church was preoccupied with the well-being of God's beloved man. The service's video stream was cut off during the incident, leaving thousands of internet users with a lot of questions and increasing anxiety. The response of the Christian world. The touching moment has spread across social media in a matter of minutes. Fans, followers, and other clergy members asked people to pray for Pastor T.D. Jakes via a flurry of postings, tweets, and messages on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. People responded by sharing prayers, encouraging comments, and success stories that had been impacted by Bishop Jakes' ministry when they began using the hashtags Pray for T.D. Jakes and Jakes. Others welcomed optimism via a religious perspective, urging the online community to pray for Pastor Jakes, while others expressed doubt. Before the stream was stopped, a person tweeted, "Now, it's our turn to pour back into him." Bishop T.D. Jakes is a benefit to the religious community, according to one who prayed for his health. Very quickly, rumors began to circulate about what may have occurred, with many people speculating as to whether Jakes had experienced a stroke or some other medical disaster. Medical professionals and other onlookers spoke about the symptoms, but the authorities themselves said nothing, which made for a fantastic chance for rumors. One theme persisted in spite of the uncertainty: the love and support that everyone has shown. For starters, individuals from all around the globe hoped that Pastor Jakes would recover quickly and continue to influence many lives with church teachings. The proof of how Jakes has changed the lives of millions of people was more than simply the dread or anxiety that individuals voiced in the online discussion. It was often a parent, a teacher, and an influence in their own life who had a crisis, not simply a preacher. People continued to share their thoughts and worries on social media, along with prayers for Jake's family. Everyone was taken aback by the abrupt and dramatic occurrence that transpired on Sunday morning, and the episode's flaw only made their fears and anxieties worse. People, particularly social media users from all around the world, swiftly write messages to express their support and best wishes whenever such news breaks. Many social media users were moved by a statement made by someone with a similar medical condition as Pastor Jakes. "It seems to be a stroke. I had the same experience. We spent too much time sitting with our legs dangling down. I developed a blood clot. That's precisely how it happened." Although several theories have been put forward on what transpired, Pastor Jake's daughter has come forth with a revelation. What information has she disclosed on his health, then? Let's investigate. The affection is felt by them. The majority of comments made by the public on social media platforms are positive, understanding, and compassionate, even if there is still conjecture on Pastor Jake's present health. The platforms were flooded with messages of encouragement and love from followers who offered prayers and words of support to Pastor Jake and his family. "We are praying for healing and restoration," according to one social media user. The congregation, followers, and other bishops' overwhelming display of concern and care on social media demonstrated the love that a man of God has for people all around the world. The community's concern and eagerness over Jake's status have only grown as the days have given way to nights. In the middle of all of this, Sarah Jakes Roberts, the daughter of Pastor Jakes, came to Instagram to provide the long-awaited update. Sarah began her heartbreaking video message with T. Roberts at her side, expressing her gratitude for all of the love they got. With much emotion, she remarked, "Thank you so much for your prayers and concerns. We feel the love." Sarah persisted in reassuring everyone that everything was well and that her father was getting the finest care possible. T. Roberts jumped in with words of encouragement, informing everyone that Pastor Jakes is truly okay and healing. The individuals who had been anxiously awaiting word on the Jakes' health found great solace in their reserved and kind demeanor. The millions of individuals who had been waiting greeted the family update with relief. T. Roberts expressed gratitude and faith while providing a positive update on Jake's health. He spat, of course. Today could have been a tragic day, however, it wasn't. Through God's kindness and compassion, I am grateful. Bishop is receiving medical attention and is doing well. For people to feel and comprehend that prayer had, in fact, protected Pastor Jakes from what might have been a much worse experience, his sermon was just what they needed to hear. Following the Jakes family's message, Pastor Jakes' followers expressed their joy and prayers for the family in a number of comments and positive replies. Some left a remark saying, "Thank you, Lord, for keeping him safe," in response to the good improvements. "Get well soon," without delay advised another. "Give thanks to God for his kindness." People from all around the world graciously replied to Robert's remarks with words of support and prayers for Pastor Jake's speedy and complete recovery, creating an amazing and encouraging online community. As the news of Bishop Jake's stable status continued to circulate online, people continued to pray for him and his family. The prayer and support Bishop Jakes would get demonstrated the type of profound love he had for people everywhere and the reciprocation of that love. Indeed, it was clear that he would continue to be in millions of people's prayers and thoughts for days and weeks to come. How has Pastor T.D. Jakes responded to the situation, given the outpouring of love and prayers? Let's investigate. In the middle of the controversy surrounding the incident, Pastor T.D. Jakes has provided an update on his health concerns and acknowledged the positive impact that the supportive letters from his church, followers, and other spiritual leaders have had on him. During a video update on December 1st, 2024, Pastor T.D. Jakes said that he had suffered a serious health setback that required emergency surgery. "Many of you are unaware that you are seeing a live miracle," he said, thanking God for his love, compassion, and grace. Jakes said that he was cleared from a medical examination before to the event, but he needed to pay attention to his health and take some time to heal. "I want you to keep the faith and keep praying for me," he said, thanking his supporters for their prayers. "I'm feeling upbeat. I'm feeling well right now. I'm not in any pain. Additionally, I want to let you know that I am able to feel your prayers." The situation involving Pastor T.D. Jakes has served as a reminder to all of us that we should focus more on our health. Despite the grimness, the story serves as a reminder that those who are experiencing health issues may greatly benefit from compassion and prayers. We appreciate you seeing, commenting, and subscribing. Additionally, click on the video that is shown on your screen to see another fascinating film. I'll see you over there. Everyone expressed their thoughts on the matter, and this remark sparked a great deal of debate and speculation about the cause of Pastor Jake's terrible event. Given the high amounts of pressure that most leaders, particularly clerics, endure, some speculated that stress could have been the cause of the pastor's illness. Others speculated about the medical nature of the issue, with one worried follower noting that it may be pneumonia. As a result, several ideas were proposed, and many individuals developed their own perspectives on the matter. Although several theories have been put forward on what transpired, Pastor Jake's daughter has come forth with a revelation. What information has she disclosed on his health, then? Let's investigate. The affection is felt by them. The public's comments on social media platforms are mostly positive, compassionate, and kind, even if there is still doubt on Pastor Jake's present health. The platforms were flooded with supportive and encouraging comments from followers who offered prayers and words of encouragement to Pastor Jake and his family. "We are praying for healing and restoration," one social media user said. The congregation, social media followers, and other bishops' extraordinary display of concern and care demonstrated the love that a man of God has for people all across the world. The community's concern and eagerness over Jake's status have only grown as the days have given way to nights. In the middle of all of this, Sarah Jakes Roberts, the daughter of Pastor Jakes, came to Instagram to provide the long-awaited update. Sarah began reading the book she had been looking forward to with T. Roberts at her side. Sarah began her poignant video message with T. Roberts by her side,